Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Lindsay, and today's a special day because it's my birthday and I'm turning 23. Well, I've turned 23 today by God's grace. 23 years of life, love, wisdom, and laughter. But today I want to talk to you guys about something more serious, and that is mental health and mental health awareness, what that means for me, what my testimony is, what I've been dealing with this month, this past 6 months, maybe even about a year. But yeah, I want to talk to you guys about mental health awareness. Since May is mental health awareness month, and I was like, I'm gonna drop this video on my birthday because it's almost the end of the month and it's just a great way to like end the month, you know? So here we go. I want to say for at least about a year now, I have been in a really bad mental health space. I'm the type of person, I take on everyone's responsibilities. You know, I feel like I have to be superwoman. I have to be there for everyone, and I have to, you know, be strong for everyone. And so when I'm dealing with my own issues, it just makes everything so much harder to bear, right? Because it's like I'm carrying the whole world's issues on my back, and that's not my cross to carry. Jesus paid that how many years ago, you know? But that's kind of the burden that I feel I need to carry. And so I want to say, especially within these last 4 to 6 months, I've been really battling a lot of negativity mentally. Like, it was literally, I cannot even lie to you, it was literally about maybe 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, that I was set free from all of this. But I was dealing with a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of confusion and doubt, a lot of anxiety. And not that I was having anxiety attacks, but like just the thought of next week, the thought of next month, the thought of like the future, you know, was bringing me so much stress and anxiety, and I didn't know what to do, right? And I was dealing with fear, anxiety, depression, like I really just got free from this all a couple weeks ago, guys. And it's so crazy because I was literally telling my friend, like, because we talk frequently, right? And he'll always ask me, you know, Lindsay, are you okay? Blah, blah, what's new, blah, blah. And so for us to have the relationship that we have and to be such close friends, and he knew nothing about this, guys, and he was so shocked. And I was telling him that, you know, I get it now. I get why people, like, you'll see someone on Instagram, or like I've had this happen a couple times where you'll be on Instagram or in life and you'll know someone who is so happy, so cheerful, who like the least likely person to commit suicide, and you hear that they've killed themselves, and you're just like, that doesn't make sense with how I know that person to be, and how I know their interactions to be, and how I know them to, you know, to be this happy, fun, joyful person. On the outside, it's just like, dang, people can be dealing with so much internally. Like, the mind can literally be such a battlefield that you have no idea about. But I feel like I've digressed a bit. Anyhow, I was telling him that, you know, nobody would have known that I was going through all of this because it wasn't something that I was vocal about, right? And I was still functioning. So on the outside, everything looks great. Like, I'm still functioning. I'm still showing up to, you know, work. I'm still interacting on social media. I'm still calling friends and texting. I'm still taking pictures. But every day is this struggle for me, and every day is this battle for me, because mentally I'm like and this is the thing, it's not just sadness, it's like this sorrow. And I was telling my friend, like, there were days where I could literally like feel like internal pain, like I feel it physically almost. Like, I don't know if you've ever, and granted this might not be everyone, but I don't know if you've ever gone through a breakup, right? And you're so sad that like it literally hurts you, like you're hurting physically. And there would be days where I would literally feel physical pain from the sorrow that I felt internally. And there were so many days where I would wake up and I was really just asking myself, what's the point of all this? Like, why another day? Like, why? And thankfully, I feel like for me, I never really got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna kill myself. But there were definitely, I know I was beginning to deal with, probably with like early stages of suicide, because I started thinking, it started off as, you know, well, I wonder what life would be like without me. I wonder who would cry. I wonder who would miss me. I wonder who would feel my absence, you know. I wonder who would mourn. I wonder who would come to my funeral. It started off as little thoughts like that, and then it became a normal thing, right? And then I started like wondering and imagining like, I wonder how, you know, I'll pass away. I wonder how I die. I wonder, you know. And it's so crazy, because when I was telling him, he was just like, when I was telling my friend, he was just like, what, Lindsay? And I'm like, I know. I don't even know how I got to that point, but it almost became normal for me to picture what life would be like without me, and how my family would be, it was just weird. Like, I started to see life without me in the picture, and it started to become a normal mental thing for me. Like, I could envision it without feeling some way. It was just like, well, that's just what life would be, you know? And I started having these thoughts of like death a lot. And I think one thing that really pointed that out for me was one day I was talking to my mom, and I don't remember the context of our conversation or what was said. I know we were definitely joking, and I said something. I don't remember what I said for the life of me, but she said, you know what, Lindsay, you need to be careful what you say, because a lot lately you've been talking about death a lot. And I was just like, and I didn't realize it until she said it, and I was just like, oh, really? Like, I didn't think that. Like, I'll make note of that. And guys, I can't even begin to tell you the mental space that I was in. I didn't even know how to begin to explain what I was going through. I didn't even know how to begin to explain what I was feeling and my thoughts and the seriousness of it, because I didn't really know the seriousness of it until a couple weeks ago, and we'll get to that. But I didn't even really know the seriousness of it. It just was, it started off as, you know, I'm feeling frustrated about where I am. I'm feeling stagnant. I'm feeling confused. I'm feeling doubtful. And it began to progress into something else. And I always say, everything starts from somewhere. You don't wake up and just see people committing suicide for no reason. Nobody just wakes up one day and commits suicide. It started from somewhere, you know? And I think that it's really important when we're talking to our loved ones and people that we trust, and, you know, our spiritual leaders and stuff, and they're asking us how we're doing, we have to be honest. Like, we have to really, if your week is feeling so stressful and you're feeling hopeless, tell somebody. Like, just tell them, because I was holding these things in and they were building up, and God forbid I might not have even made it to see today or the next 6 months or next year or God knows whatever. And that's because we're wearing this mask, you know? And so I was like, I get it completely. I get why pastors commit suicide and you're just baffled, because people are dealing with real things. People are dealing with real emotions. People are dealing with real situations. People are dealing with real spirits, guys. The Bible says our warfare is not against flesh and blood. These things are, everything has a spirit behind it. There's a spirit of suicide. There's a spirit of confusion. There's a spirit of fear. And the Bible literally says, I am not giving you a spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And basically a couple weeks ago, I was at a fellowship, and the pastor was praying for, it was like a deliverance service, and he was praying for people, laying hands on people, and this is how afterwards I didn't even know the severity of it, because he was like, you know, there's someone here, you're dealing with 5 things, and he named them all. And he was like, you know, and the last thing is suicide, and all of it will end in suicide. And it was like an instant reaction. Like, I felt like this fire in my belly almost, and I literally was just like, instantly, uncontrollably, I just started weeping. And I didn't even know that it was going to be me that he called out. Like, I didn't even know the names of everything that I was dealing with, but when he said it, it just like, it made so much sense, and I was just weeping, guys. Like, I'm someone, I feel as though, you know, I will never commit suicide. You know, I'm not that type of person. Like, it will never get there for me. And so for him to even say like, this is how it will all end, like this is what you're dealing with as well, like that's one of it. I was almost shocked, but it still kind of made sense, because I see how my thoughts and my imagination and, you know, my emotions were kind of in line with that spirit. But it was still a shock, because it was like, whoa, Lindsay, could the enemy get you to a point where you actually kill yourself? Like, it still sounds like wow, that's who would have thought, you know? But I just thank God for deliverance and freedom. And I'm not gonna lie, when you know, I was being delivered from all that, and he was praying for me and I was weeping, a part of me also felt embarrassed, right? Because here I am, crowned by grace, I proclaim it, you know, I live it. This is my brand, this is my ministry, this is what I stand by. And yet I'm dealing with all of this. And it's just like, sis, you know, and I felt like, wow, people must look at me. People are gonna look at me sideways if I make this video, and people who know me, who were there, sorry, are gonna look at me like, how are you crowned by grace? But the fact of the matter is, these things are real. You can be anointed, gifted, talented, whatever the case may be, called and chosen, and still deal with these things. Pastors are still human. They can still deal with these things. And I think that we need to be compassionate. I'm just thankful that God delivered me, that he was consistent and faithfully loving me. And I'll tell you something else. When I was one day, maybe like a couple months ago or something, I'm not really sure when it was, but I was worshiping, and I literally saw like a vision. Jesus, we were like in a green field, and Jesus was the shepherd, and there was like a bunch of sheep. And he was like going through the sheep, and he was looking, and he was like, where's Lindsay? And he was like, where's Lindsay? And I don't know why that vision instantly brought tears to my eyes. Like, wow, and there's things that we know, and then there's things that are revealed to us, and it still makes us like, wow, I really didn't know the magnitude of what I knew. If that makes any sense at all. Because I'm just like, I was like, wow, God, you literally know me by my name. Like, you know me individually. Even amongst all these sheep, they look alike. How do you know the difference between Bob, Billy, Sue, Ray, whoever? And here you are walking through all these sheep, and you still know exactly who's missing. You still know exactly who's hurting. You still know exactly who to chase after, and who to pursue, and who to bring back, and who to comfort. And I was just so amazed by God's love, and just the reality of our relationship with God, and how I just feel like somebody somewhere, I know needs to watch this, because I didn't even know the magnitude of what I was dealing with. I didn't even know how the enemy wanted my story to end, but God. And I think that one song over the past couple weeks, that had really gotten me through too as well, before God delivered me, was For My Good by Todd Galbraith. Guys, when I tell you that song got me through, the first time I heard that song, I said, God, you wrote this song with me in mind, because this song is speaking my truth right now. And it really is my testimony. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning around for my good. And now I can come and share this with you guys boldly, unapologetically, unafraid of what people will say or what people will think, because your freedom is important to me as well. And I want to see you set free from the traps of the enemy, and the plans of the enemy, the attacks of the enemy. So I suggest that if you are dealing with anything that I've mentioned in this video, or if this video has allowed you to realize something else that you're dealing with, I want to encourage you to reach out for help to a trusted loved one, your parents, your spiritual leader, your pastor, your mentor, myself, whoever God leads you to speak to. Please speak to that person. Be open, be vulnerable, be truthful with them, because that's the only way that you can literally be set free, if you tell the truth, tell your truth. And so I'm saying, give no room to the enemy, guys. Guard your hearts, guard your minds, guard your emotions, guard your relationships. Don't allow the enemy to use anything to manipulate you and to trap you and to ensnare you, because it is hard to get out of it if you don't catch it early on. And the Bible talks about how the enemy walks around like a roaring lion looking for whom he can devour. And so the enemy is literally looking at every part of our lives and every part of our relationship and everything that concerns us, and is saying, where can I get her? Can I get her in her emotions? Can I get her in her mind? Can I get her with social media? Can I get her with her career? Can I get her with her family, you know? And so we have to make sure that we're guarding everything with our life, and that we're praying. Pray for your friends, guys, because I already know my friends are gonna watch this video like, what, Lindsay? I know, right? But pray for your friends, pray for your loved ones, pray for people, and just be kind, be compassionate, be loving, be the person that someone else can come to talk to. But I'm sending you this video with lots of love, and I pray that it blesses somebody and you guys take something out of it. Love you so much, guys. It's my birthday! Comment happy birthday! Say a prayer for me, actually, in the comment section. I would love that. But love you guys. Stay blessed, stay beautiful. Until we meet again.